Hi and welcome back to my channel. Today we've got my new to me anyway Sinn 556A. Now before I get started, if you like my channel and all that, please feel free to like and subscribe. Really does help. If you leave any comments, I always try and get back, so feel free. Now this watch I'm smitten with. I really have grown to like this in such a short time. Let's get into it first. The actual dimensions of this watch. Now this might put some people off because it's 38.5 by only 11 millimeters thick and 46 lug to lug and a bracelet size of 20. Now automatically, I know some of you out there are going to be going, well, that's far too small. It will look minuscule on my wrist. Let me compare it then to a couple of watches. First of all, the Breitling Colt 41. As the name suggests, that's a 41mm watch, so surely that's okay for most people. Look at the size difference, or lack of it. Does it really look any different? This, because it's kind of like a pilot, sort of pilot's watch, cockpit watch, however you wish to describe it, has a much bigger dial, and subsequently doesn't look really any smaller. Or maybe if I compare it to, say, a 5-digit Rolex LV, is this really looking that much smaller? So no, I don't think it does at all. So really I would try and stress, don't think of the numbers. I've done this on videos before where I've tried to show people that the numbers aren't everything. It's dial size, lug to lug size, full works. So let's actually have a look at that dial. Now if I zoom in there, I love the contrast between the black and white on this dial. I really enjoy it. Let me move that hand out away so you can see the logo a little bit better. There we go. Now I just love the symmetry of the dial on this. I love the stark contrast between the hands, the markers, and the actual black dial color. It's not quite glossy. It's like a satin finish, but it does have a lot of AR coating on here, so you really do, in certain lights, you do feel like you can pick the hands off the dial. They have done a really good job of this, and I love the fact that there's plenty of lume on there also. I'll drop a lume shot in now. You can see the lume is actually very good. One other thing I like about this, but again, some people are going to criticize it for this, is the fact of the very tiny date window in between the 4 and 5 position down there. What I like is because they do this 12, 3, 6, 9 on the dial, you have this symmetry about it. And normally when you get a watch with a date like the Submariner, the symmetry is gone. Because of that Cyclops, because of a date, it's gone. But this, a lot of people don't even notice that it actually has the date there. So yes, you will get some people saying, oh, it's too small. I've heard someone say it's comically small. But the thing is, the date isn't an everyday requirement. You set it once, okay, at the end of each month you might have to, do something about it. But realistically, that's okay. If your eyes aren't good enough to see it, then okay, then that's just one of those things you can't do. But I really like the fact they placed it there because it's not in your face, you don't notice it, and it doesn't ruin the symmetry of the dial. And this dial I just think is lovely. After all, I believe it was Seiko once copied this on their Spork model, and that's why they sometimes call it the Sinn Seiko or Seiko Sinn. So I really quite taken by that. Now there's plenty of lume on this watch, but one criticism I would say is this lovely second hand, which goes just about goes all the way to the all the way out to the minute track, isn't lumed. For that I have absolutely no idea why on earth it isn't lumed, which is a little bit of a shame, but that's okay. That's one of my few criticisms with this watch. I also like the fact that where the hands meet the pinion in the center, it's actually matte black, so you kind of just see the outside of the hands rather than actually going towards the centre there, because they've done it the same colour as the dial. Now, as I've said, this is a sapphire crystal. There's AR coating on both sides, but you've got to be careful because it is easy to mark, like I think it has been marked there, but I'll get that done on the next service. I'll have a new crystal sink fitted. But the AR coating is top notch. I love the fact certain angles it disappears, really does disappear, that crystal. Yeah, really quite taken by it. And then we start looking at the case. The case has got this lovely brushwork all the way around, kind of like a satin finish. We've got the signed crown, which is a screw down crown, and has this nice crown protection here as well. And they've just done a really nice job. I like the fact that it has got drilled lugs. It just makes it so much easier for actually changing out straps. Now, if I turn it round, you can see we have a display case back on there. We have a screw down case back as well. Because after all, this watch is actually 200 meters water resistant, which isn't bad considering the watch is actually only 11 meters thick. So back there, that movement is a Sellita SW200, 201. I'm not normally a fan of the Sellita movements, but so far, when it comes to this, you've got to be careful over-winding, well, not really over-winding, but winding the SW200 movements. I always do keep it to a minimal. I only just do it just to wake the watch up, really, if you haven't had it on. So it is a 26 joule anti-magnetic movement. I think the power reserve is about 38-40 hours on these. But it does look quite nice through there with the gold rotor. One thing I would say, timekeeping on this watch has been absolutely spot on. I would say round about a second and a half a day. So obviously that's on my wrist because you never know, if you put it down on its side it can move. But this one so far has been excellent. Well within chronometer spec standards, though this watch isn't actually a chronometer rated watch, but so far I'm very, very impressed. Now, coming out from here, the bracelet finish is fantastic. It's a satinized brush finish. So what I like, the fact, let me zoom out a little bit here. What I like is it's not polished. It's not kind of like a gaudy, sort of like over polished watch. It's kind of just this lovely satin finish with the brushwork. It really is quite nicely done. I'm used to a lot of my Sinns normally come in this finish, bead blasted, and this looks so nice in comparison. Now this is the newer bracelets, the newer bracelet design, and so does have the Allen key release screw system here, and it feels absolutely really, really solid. Now the clasp is a folded steel, so nothing super special. It even has the original stickers on this still, that's quite good. But we do have a machined center there. Now if I here, dive link extension or machined work, which is actually quite solid. If I put it back, very solid click. If I close it, solid. So it is actually at this price point, I can't really criticize it at all. 3 levels of micro adjustment. Nice that they put the little dimples there as well. Not that you need it, but it is kind of a nice touch. And let me show you it on my wrist. Now, again, for people who are thinking this is too small, it's going to look silly. Oh, I should point out I'm wearing my other 556. This is the anniversary model on the Fine Link bracelet. Now, I will be doing at a later date a video showing the differences between the two. So that, if you're a Sinn fan or want to see more about that, stay tuned. So my wrist size is just over 7 inches. So not a very big wrist size, but not small either. So this, I think, looks great. I really do think it looks super on the wrist. I like the fact that the bracelet is actually quite chunky. It's not over heavy in any way. It just looks, I think, really, really nice. I don't know if as I've been collecting watches, I've been collecting watches for approximately 13 years, and I don't know if my taste has, I don't know if you could say matured, I don't know if that's the right word for it, but I remember when I first started collecting watches, you want all the bells and whistles, you want all the complications, you want, you know, flyback chronos, you want this and that, and this is just, I don't know, you put it on, you forget it, and you just look at it every so often, you think, what a nice looking watch. You know, it's almost like less is more in this respect. And that's how I really do feel about this watch. It hasn't got rotating bezels, you know, any flash complications on the watch. Okay, it's got a date, it's got a display back, but I really like it for that. I think they've just, you know, absolutely nailed it with this watch. I really, really am impressed. So anyway, I'll leave you to it for now. I say later on I will be doing a video comparing it against my other Sinn 556 so you can see the difference, and I might do a one where I show it on a load of different straps as well, something like that, because there's quite a few people with these who might be interested in different strap options. So any questions about watch, please feel free to leave them in the comments below, and stay safe out there. I'll see you at the next watch review. All the best. Bye.